You've tuned in to the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
You realize what you've done?
With Rich Liebig.
The real gangster plays his cards, right?
And Michael Costanzo.
What was that you just read?
Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news.
Good times, noodle salad.
The point is, you now have the ability to be happy.
And now, here's Rich and Mike on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Woo! Yeah! How you guys doing?
What's up, everybody?
It's time for this week's episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. How are you doing? I'm Rich Liebig.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we are here to give you the most interesting bits in the world of sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we feel like talking about. Isn't that right, Mike?
That's right. We bring it to you with our unique sense of humor and wackiness. You never know what you're going to get here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
That's right. We're going to do things slightly different on this week's episode because we've got a lot of news to get to, as well as a special guest. So this is going to be a very interesting episode. We're literally going to take sports as a sampler because sports, I feel like, is in an interesting flux this past week.
It's in a lull period. There's nothing happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's only baseball going on, which Mike doesn't count as a sport, apparently.
Baseball is not a real thing.
We learned that from last week's episode. But we have a lot of entertainment news as well as a guest. So we're actually going to have two separate entertainment segments, which I think that's the first time we've ever done that.
This is the very first time,
So a very interesting show coming your way, as well as a special guest. We've got Marie Thresher about to enter our show and discuss her new book and everything like that. So a lot of things coming your way. But before we get into everything, Mikey, my friend, how are you doing?
I'm good. I finally took your advice after years of pestering and showing me gabagool clips.
Yeah, gabagool.
Gabagool. I started watching The Sopranos. Hey, what's the matter with you?
There you go.
I watched the first three
gabagool over here.
Gabagool. You know, I gotta say, it's hilarious watching The Sopranos and listening to all those like gabagool, prosciutto, all this stuff, and I'm like, because my parents are sticklers for like the correct pronunciation of these Jersey Italian words. Like it's
the fake Jersey Italian, fake Italian from Jersey.
It's gabagool is not a thing. Gabagool is not real.
It's
capicolo.
That's New Jersey.
It's soprasata, not supersad. But like it's one of those things.
You just drop the last syllable.
You just drop the last syllable. Yeah. Instead of prosciutto, it's prosciutto.
Right.
So it's been fun watching all that. What?
Yeah. It's like you just have to do instead of like situation.
You just drop the last.
Situation. I'm going to come at you. You and me, you're going to have a situation.
We're going to have a situation?
Yes, you don't mess.
But it's been fun watching The Sopranos. I'm really digging it. I love this is old news. Everybody's watching. So, like, dude, you're like 2 decades late.
Well, no. So the reason why, first off, I've always been pounding you to watch The Sopranos, but actually now is the perfect time to catch up on The Sopranos.
I didn't realize they're doing a thing.
Yeah, they're doing a prequel movie that is coming out in less than 6 weeks.
Isn't the guy dead? Didn't James Gandolfini die in real life?
Yes.
So how are they doing a prequel then?
His son.
Really?
Yes, his son is going to be playing the role of Tony Soprano, but a young Tony Soprano.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, it fits because you can do 1 season per week. And you will
it's not
get
too
up
bad
right
because
to
it's 10 episodes or something a season
for the first couple ones, but then it cranks up because it got successful. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're in for a hell of a ride, Mike.
Okay. Well, I'm really enjoying it so far. I really like the premise of a mob figure going to a psychiatrist basically, and talking about his issues, because it's one of the things, mob guys, they're so macho, they're so tough, they're the wise guys, right?
Yeah.
Hey, what's the matter you? But this guy is like having existential crises and mental breakdowns, and he's talking to a psychiatrist, and there's something about that that's so compelling, watching that somebody that's so tough, supposed to be in charge, trying to be vulnerable and not really getting the vulnerability thing about, and again, very early on, I don't know how this changes. I'm probably making a fool of myself right now, but I'm enjoying it. Yeah, initial reactions, really enjoying it. Really like the premise. Can't wait to see how it continues to evolve or devolve from there.
Yes, so the show's fantastic from start to finish. You're gonna love it. I always love the older guys in that show.
Yeah.
I forget the dude's name now, but he's the one that's like balding, but he tries to have like a horrible comb over to fix it, and like he just always says like the most like blunt things. And I forget his name now. Off the top of my head, it's been a while since I've watched it.
Well, you got to do your rewatch. What's the matter with you?
I got to do it now. Well, you know what I do? This is my problem.
You watch clips.
I fall into like a YouTube hole because there literally is like, everyone posts like their favorite clips from The Sopranos. So literally, I'll start with one that I'm thinking about, and then before I know it, it's midnight, and I'm like, oh, whoops! I watched like 3 hours straight of Sopranos, but it's not
just clips of it.
It's not episodes. It's just like my favorite scenes.
I'll do that. I'll do that all the time with Marvel movies and Game of Thrones. I'll go back and watch all the dragon scenes from Game of Thrones.
Something else that I do is if I'm eating like spaghetti or pasta, throw up the tablet or the phone and put on some Sopranos clips, because watching The Sopranos will make you gain weight. That is a fact. That is a fact.
I mean, some of the food does look really good so far.
Fact.
Yeah.
Fact. I dare you. I dare you to watch The Sopranos without gaining weight.
Well, that's not promising.
No, hey, come on. You got to have the carbs. You got to have the bust.
People don't realize that fellow Italians will realize that carbs are like a big deal between the bread, the pasta. I mean, everything we eat is just so filled with carbs.
Yes. It's good
for
you.
There's just pork and carbs everywhere.
That's the flavor.
The flavor?
That's good, fellas. Yeah. You got to have the pork. That's the flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been watching the pork and the carbs.
Even, you know what? Now that I really think about it, I think somewhere on YouTube
there
is a 25-minute clip of all of the food that they present in The Sopranos.
You would know something like that. While eating pasta.
Yes.
While eating pasta and meatballs and sausage.
Guilty as charged.
And the prosciutto and the gabagool.
Oh, you gotta have the gabagool.
You gotta have the gabagool.
Over here.
I went to the supermarket. I got prosciutto. I didn't get capicola, but I was thinking about it. I was like, I'm gonna have my prosciutto while watching The Sopranos.
Very good, very good.
So that's what I've been doing: eating prosciutto and watching The Sopranos. What have you been up to, Rich?
There you go. Pretty much just more stuff with the house. I mean, it's building blocks. We're getting there.
Slow but steady.
Yep. I guess the thing I want to mention is that the MM Army is coming back.
Oh yeah,
that's this week. I'm ecstatic.
Yeah. Yeah, so for people that don't know, you work for MMR.
Yep.
Right.
93.3 Philadelphia. And it is surreal that we've got events again. It feels like a huge hurdle has been, taken away from us, and we're getting back to things like that. And we're having the concert. It's still on. I know people are scared of the Delta variant, but as of right now, it's still a go.
Yeah.
So I think everything is looking good for live concerts and stuff like that.
Oh, people just got to continue to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do to keep things open and running.
Do what you need to do, or we're going to come find you.
That's right.
I'm doing the Paulie Walnuts.
Is that what Paulie Walnuts does?
If you ever notice, when he points at somebody, the pinky is out too.
I'm gonna start doing that. I like that.
It's like the
it's like the Maloik.
No, the Maloik
is
coming at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is like more of like a sidearm. It's like the gun Star-Lord uses in Guardians of the Galaxy, where there's like a thing, a barrel on top and a barrel on the bottom.
Yeah.
So start with Paulie Walnuts.
It did?
Yeah. Give credit to Paulie.
I'm gonna start pointing like that.
You better pay tribute to Paulie.
That's right.
You're only as good as your last envelope.
Sure.
That's a line in Sopranos.
I haven't gotten there yet.
You'll find out.
Okay.
Okay. So there we go. Enough mob talk. I'm sure. I know if Rachel's watching this, she's already
turned it off.
That's it.
I said Sopranos, and she's like, next.
Oh God, he's talking about mafia movies. That's it. So there you go. Hopefully that didn't turn off half of our listeners. Either half the listeners are enjoying this, or half
tuned out and half tuned in.
Yeah. There you go. All right, so how about we get to some news topics at hand? Let's crush the sports sampler as fast as we can. Let's launch into it. Well, first I got to play the sports sampler clip. We're all out of whack here.
It's time for the sports sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
Yes, so it's a true appetizer. We're only doing 2-minute drill here.
That's right.
You ready?
Just a quick bite.
Yep. You ready to jump into it?
Let's do it.
All right. There you
All
go.
right.
Clock is armed.
This week in the Sports Sampler 2-minute drill, we have a couple of football stories. First up, Josh Rosen, our good buddy. Josh Rosen.
Talked about him last
Yeah,
week.
the former 10th overall pick from the 2018 draft is going to the Falcons. This is his 5th team in 4 seasons. Rich, is the 5th time the charm?
I feel so bad for him. Something's got to pan out.
Yeah.
I mean,
it really sucks being shuffled around like that. I mean, he doesn't have a chance with any one team. How can he find success?
Yeah, and the Falcons, that's a team that I can think of that need quarterback depth.
Yeah.
Name their backup quarterback.
I mean,
I don't know.
it's just a prayer, I think, because if Matt Ryan goes down, that whole team goes down.
Yeah, so come on. It's got to work out. 5th time's the charm.
5th time's a charm. Hoping here that Josh Rosen finds a little bit of success. But while the Falcons are gaining a huge playmaker in journeyman bust Josh Rosen, the Jacksonville Jaguars are losing a key player. That's right. Unfortunately, the Jacksonville Jaguars will be without their first-round pick this season. They lost 25th overall pick running back Travis Etienne to a Linz Frank injury. That's really bad. That's a bad injury. That's a season-ending injury right off the bat. Season hasn't even started. Done.
Yeah, this is a really tough break for the Jacksonville Jaguars because they were really hoping to create a situation like the Browns did, where you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as your 1-2 running back combo, because they have James Robinson, who had a fantastic year last year, but now, that's gonna add a lot of pressure back onto Robinson and the quarterback they drafted. Why can't I think? We got under the pressure.
All I can think of is Blake Bortles, which I know is
it's
wrong
not.
because
No.
he's like forever ago.
Trevor Lawrence.
There you go.
All I could think about was flowy blonde hair.
Flowy blonde hair.
He's prancing out there with the flowy blonde hair. There you go.
Well, you like football players who prance, like Brett Favre.
I do.
Back in that's what you used to say.
Brett
Brett
Favre.
Favre. He's just out there prancing.
Yes. By the way, did you see Brett Favre came out against tackle football for kids under 14?
I did see that, actually. And you know what? I don't blame him, because the more research that comes out, the more you realize that football is just awful. Like, no, I'm serious. In terms of health, especially for developing youths, football is like one of the most violent and injury-prone sports.
Yeah.
JB, my brother, former associate producer.
Former.
Well, he's gone. He's
after the talk of Sopranos, you make it sound like you killed him.
No. He just moved to Chicago. Former. He played football in high school.
Yes, he did.
There were games where, I mean, he would get a hit and he would say that he doesn't remember the rest of the game after getting that hit. And I mean, he was, 14, 15, 16, those high school years. So you have to imagine that a lot of kids.
Ever since then, he likes rap music.
And ever since then, he started liking rap music. It's been downhill since then, But in all seriousness, I mean, when you really think about it, we didn't mean to talk about this subject, but now I'm on a roll. When you really think about it, this was in, southeastern Pennsylvania, where high school football isn't all that big, but you can imagine in places like Virginia and Bama and Texas, where high school football is the end-all be-all.
I love my high school football.
These kids are hitting for a college scholarship and more.
Yeah.
So, they're really going at it 110%, and they're 14, 15 years old. You can see what it does by the time these players retire and they're 35, A lot of that might be attributed to starting so young. A lot of these kids start when they're 8, 9 years old with tackle football.
Yeah,
and it just builds up. So it's interesting.
Yeah,
Brett Favre speaking out against it doesn't surprise me, really.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of sports figures say stuff like that.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me either. Brett Favre even said on the record that he has similar instances, like he has games that he doesn't remember how he finished and stuff like that.
I mean, Brett Favre was, just by the length of his career, one of the most sacked quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Took a lot of hits in his days.
Yeah. And he was still part of that era that was still, all right, just get up.
Got your bell rung.
Yeah. Get up. Get up.
Get back on the field. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really makes you wonder what some of those interceptions were because of,
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that's hey, I will not shy away. Brett Favre is my favorite quarterback. And I do recognize he has the most interceptions. I don't care.
He does.
He made the games interesting.
He certainly did.
Look, him, Ryan Fitzmagic, those guys I revere. Chuck it up there. Have some fun.
Hey, you're right. It is just a game.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes,
as long as it's not an Eagles quarterback just chucking it up there and getting picked off all the time.
Sometimes you need that X factor that, you know what? Sometimes,
Every once in a while in a game, they're just going to randomly go deep, and and you got to be ready for it.
Yeah, because that's how you keep safeties honest.
Yeah.
You don't want to have the safeties cheat up, and then you can't have anything with the run game. You got to be willing to take a couple shots down the field.
You have to.
So I love quarterbacks that are willing to do it. So there you go. Brett Favre was one of them, and although I will admit, Brett Favre sometimes it looked like he just blind. Ah!
He did.
Somebody's
really did.
down there, right? Ah!
Somebody will be there.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. That's all the sports we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of entertainment news.
That's right. We have the first part.
Yeah,
of entertainment news.
So I just realized we didn't plan this out. So do I play the entertainment entree sounder twice?
No, just once.
Just once?
Yeah,
okay.
I think
do I
so.
do it now?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Mike has decreed it so. We're going to play it now. The entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty? Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
Oh, something else that I wanted to mention, actually, and I know it's not on the rundown, but the fact that we used wrestling music reminded me of the fact that this was a huge weekend in the wrestling world for comebacks.
Okay.
WWE had a comeback with Brock Lesnar. He announced his return at SummerSlam. But arguably the bigger one is that CM Punk is back in wrestling, and he changed brands. He's coming to All Elite Wrestling.
He was really big. He was one of the big ones in WWE, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he had a falling out with them.
A little bit, yep. And wow, I got to say, the promo that he did on last Friday night's show called Rampage is probably the best wrestling moment I've seen in the last 6 years.
Wow.
It is fantastic. It is what professional wrestling, scripted professional wrestling should be.
Wow.
It was unreal. It was
what made it so good?
So AEW timed it perfectly between the fact that CM Punk was coming back after 7 years. The show that week was in Chicago, his hometown.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The crowd was just electric. Like it was the kind that gives you goosebumps to think about the excitement in that arena.
Right.
I love the fact off the top of my head, there was a sign. There's always a sign like this at wrestling shows now that goes something like, if blah, blah, blah doesn't happen, we riot.
Okay.
There's always something like that.
Right.
So someone had a sign that said, if CM Punk doesn't show up, we riot. And then a dude next to him had a sign that said, if CM Punk shows up, we riot anyway. And he saw it, and he like jumped into in that area of the crowd. I love the fact that he was just allowed to just do whatever he wanted to do, because he literally milked his return for, what he wanted to do, and it was just perfect. It had everything that you wanted to do. He announced his return. He explained, why he wanted to come back. He explained his appreciation for the fans. And he teased his match that he's going to have at the next pay-per-view with Darby Allin, who you would be interested in following because he's getting mentored by Sting.
Okay. That's one of the few names in wrestling that I remember from my PlayStation 1 video game days.
Yeah, so you may be interested in watching this pay-per-view because they're having this battle of who is truly the best in the world. Because when CM Punk retired, he was the best in the world, and he left at the top of his game. And then this guy, Darby Allin, he's the hot shot of the AEW roster, who's being mentored by Sting because he wants to be the best in the world. And he used that phrase a lot, and that called out CM Punk, and that's going to be the culmination of the fight.
So there's a storyline developing there. It's kind of like a rivalry they're trying to build up, it seems like.
Yeah, and this return that they did on AEW was fantastic. So
okay,
I would say
so. AEW's gunning for WWE. Then
they
seems like. I mean, bringing back somebody who was really big in WWE and critical of WWE.
Yep.
To be a headliner. I mean, that's a pretty pointed, attack on WWE in a way.
Yep. So I would say go find that clip on YouTube. This whole segment lasts around like 18, 19 minutes, but I don't know. I just watching the crowd getting so excited, it gives you goosebumps.
That's a big hype moment right there for AEW.
Yeah. So go ahead, check that out. I think it's probably the best wrestling moment in the last 6 years.
Wow.
Okay. So the entertainment moving right along, and that was impromptu. We didn't have that one ready at the handle, but unfortunately, this news broke today as we record this on Tuesday night, and this one makes me sad to announce the following headline here. Because I'm a big Rolling Stones fan.
Yep.
And longtime drummer Charlie Watts officially passed away at the age of 80. Man, he literally has been with the Rolling Stones for 50 years. I mean, he was there in the early 60s. I got the good fortune to see him with the Rolling Stones lineup in 2013 as part of MMR, and it was such a fantastic show, and it was just one of those bucket list items I always wanted to have, and I was able to check that off, and it was a fantastic show. And it's very disappointing to hear that news. I kind of said this in a tweet that death comes for everybody, but the Rolling Stones, they just seem immortal. Between the stories you hear from Mick Jagger and Keith Richards falling off of a damn tree. Like what are you doing in a tree?
You're right. They seem, I don't know about ageless, but like almost invulnerable, like invincible. But
yeah, it just seems like whatever drug they do, whatever stunt they do, they get up and they just go back to touring.
They just bounce right back. Yeah.
But unfortunately, hearing this news, we are slammed back into reality that is not always the case. And unfortunately, the rock world definitely lost a legend with Charlie Watts' career. So I'm very saddened to hear that news.
It's always tough to lose a rock legend like that. And unfortunately, just the way that time works, we're going to be seeing that a lot more now from those, big acts from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Just because everybody's getting up there. It's a shame, but, it's... We remember the good times. We remember all the great things they did for music and all, the hits and, the amazing songs we'll remember them by.
Yeah. So, I think it's a good button to put on that. Charlie Watts, drummer for the Rolling Stones for 50 years. That's crazy.
Man, that is what a career.
Yeah.
Doing anything for 5 decades. That's insane.
I mean, some of these bands you hear, they don't last 5 weeks or 5 months.
Yeah, I mean, think about how many like one-hit wonder bands like pop up and flame out in a couple of years, and here's somebody that's been doing it for 50.
Yeah,
I mean, think about doing anything for 5 decades. Yeah, that's insane.
Absolutely,
it's amazing.
So, unfortunately, sad news to report there in the rock world. Okay, how about we, after looking into the past, how about we look forward into the future?
Yeah.
Because Mike has a segment where he wants to share with you what movies and TV items that you should keep an eye out for in the upcoming weekend with Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what do you have?
All right, first up in theaters, Candyman is hitting theaters this week. This is the latest story from horror, thriller, comedy mastermind Jordan Peele. This supernatural horror film tells the tale of a killer known as the Candyman who haunts the former Cabrini Green housing projects in Chicago, which have become a gentrified neighborhood. But when a young up-and-coming artist moves in and finds his career stalling, he begins to explore the dark past of the area, and that threatens both his sanity and unleashes a wave of violence in the area. It seems pretty cool. I've seen the trailers. I like anything by Jordan Peele, of course. He did
Get Out.
Get Out, Us. So, he's been making a name for himself. Really eager to see Candyman and what he has to offer this time. So go check it out. That's hitting theaters this week. And then in TV, we have Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed, a new Netflix documentary premiering this week that teases some shocking revelations. They've been playing very coy about this. Netflix has been teasing the release with trailers stating that they want to show a trailer, but they can't. And then you have to tune in to find out why. I don't know what to make of this. I really hope Netflix doesn't just destroy the few good things left in this world by completely, painting Bob Ross as a villain. What's next? Are they going to take down Mr. Rogers? I mean, is there nothing sacred in this world, Rich?
Yeah, what could he be?
I have no idea.
Dark side of painting? Like,
I
what
have
the hell?
the dark side of painting. I don't know. If you want to find out, you got to tune in to the Netflix documentary Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed, premiering on Netflix this week.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
That is
doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, I don't know what to make of that.
That's alarming. I know. I went to watch the trailer. I'm like, let me find out what this is about. And the trailer that I found was 30 seconds. It's like, we can't show you a trailer. I'm like, why would you even bother making this video just of text saying you can't show me a trailer?
Yeah, that's weird.
It worked though. I want to watch it.
Interested.
Now I'm interested.
All right.
I'm going to watch it. You know what else I want to watch, Rich?
Oh,
Another
no.
trailer that came out.
Oh, no. Here we go.
Spider-Man. No Way Home.
You even have the Spider-Man shirt on.
I do.
You
For those
nerd.
watching the video, that's right.
Nerd.
I have the Spider-Man shirt on. I am so pumped. The trailer came out. After another trailer was leaked. I didn't watch the leaked trailer, but a trailer was leaked, and then Sony and Marvel were like, here, have, the actual teaser trailer. Long trailer, like over, almost 3 minutes long. So much packed into this trailer. So exciting. The multiverse is here. I mean, they're kicking down the door in a big way with the Marvel Cinematic Universe multiverse. There are spoilers ahead for WandaVision, Loki, the other Spider-Man movies. So if you haven't seen any of those properties...
If you haven't seen the Tobey Maguire movies after 20 years...
If you haven't... Right. Because, you spilled the beans there. I mean, the big reveal, obviously, is all the rumors have been confirmed. I mean, the trailer closes with the reveal.
Honestly, is it really a spoiler at this point? I mean, we heard the rumors leading up to it. I don't think it's a spoiler.
We heard the rumors, but you can never be certain, because sometimes rumors don't pan out. But this time they did in a big way. The trailer ends. They're revealing both a pumpkin bomb, hinting at the return of Green Goblin, but the big one, of course, is Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus from the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man franchise. And this is important because this is not a new version of Doc Ock. This is from what I understand, the Tobey Maguire version of Dr. Octopus. They de-aged Alfred Molina to make him look like his Tobey Maguire Spider-Man role as Dr. Octopus. So very clearly, they are breaking down all the walls and they are colliding all these Spider-Man universes, because we also have confirmation that Jamie Foxx is reprising his role as Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield versions. And again, not a new version of Electro, but the Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. He was hinted at in the trailer. I just got to say this right off the bat. This is one of the most ambitious things that I've seen out of the MCU, I think, because we've seen how they've connected 27 movies, right? Created a cinematic universe. But now they're going out into other franchises and they're bringing characters in and they're doing it in a way that makes sense in the universe. And they're doing it in a way that not only, makes this movie exciting, but it's also opening up Phase 4 in a huge way by allowing them to introduce so many other elements. What are you smirking about?
You know what?
What are you smirking about over there?
You know what you could do now?
What?
When you just said grabbing multiple franchises.
Yeah.
Patton Oswalt's soliloquy.
Oh my God.
There you go. You could have Star Wars now crash into the Marvel universe.
Disney owns Star Wars.
Slave One comes out of nowhere.
Just do it. That's right.
Mandalorian's popular.
Instead
get
of the
him in
Sinister
there.
Six, you could have the Sinister Seven and have Darth Vader show up. I mean,
Yeah,
why not?
there you go.
How do you think Darth Vader would fare against superheroes?
Oh, he would win.
You think he'd win?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, what makes you say that he could win? Could he?
He's got the dark side of the Force.
Oh, I know, but in Marvel you have gods, like actual gods, like Thor is a god.
Okay. We got lightning, too.
We got well, whose lightning do you think is stronger, a god's or some dude with midi-chlorians? What's a midi-chlorian anyway, Rich? What's a midi-chlorian?
I'd take Palpatine and Vader over Thor any day.
Why? Some whiny teenager beat Palpatine.
No, you're being way too simplistic there.
Yeah.
By that logic, some purple dude beat the Avengers.
Some purple dude. That was Thanos, the wielder of the Infinity Gauntlet, okay?
And that was Luke Skywalker, the master of the light force.
He's a whiny terrorist teenager.
Yeah, he succeeded. Twice.
You're derailing my Spider-Man
Yes,
conversation. Let me have Spider-Man. You're just mad because Batman sucks now.
Wait, what? Batman? Why would you bring up Batman?
I don't know. Just to piss you off. So, the other thing that the trailer did was...
Just going after everything I like.
Just going after everything, yeah. So, the other thing that the Spider-Man trailer confirmed, I'm going to bring this back on track, is, I mentioned it, that the Sinister Six... You gotta stop.
Sorry,
the Sinister Six,
good.
so they confirmed Doc Ock.
Everything that you don't like sucks.
That's right. They confirmed Doc Ock, Green Goblin, and Electro. They also teased, and this character's been rumored to have Sandman appear in the film. Vulture is also rumored to appear, and remember, he's still alive in the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe. So that's 4 of the original Sinister Six. Green Goblin is the outlier there, which leads me to this. I think, and this is spoilers for Far From Home, I think Mysterio is still alive.
I think so, too.
I think Mysterio is still alive because, one, he is an original Sinister Six member. And I don't think that they would include him and then kill him and then immediately do Sinister Six and exclude him. So I think Mysterio is most likely still alive, whether he faked his death, again, Master of Illusions, or he's coming back through a multiverse version of himself. But I think Mysterio is going to be the 5th member of, if we're including Sandman as one of them. And actually, if we include Sandman and Vulture, Mysterio would make 6. But there are some other possibilities because Sandman and Vulture are just rumored. And there's one figure in particular that the internet is blowing up about, and it's just a split second, this dark, monstrous figure that attacks Peter Parker in the one scene in the trailer. People are saying it could be Lizard, who was in both the Maguire and the Garfield universe. He wasn't rumored, so I think that's a little far-fetched. People are also saying Scorpion. He was teased in the MCU. Again, I think that's not likely. Some people are saying, and this is the thing that's getting everybody excited, it could be Venom. Now, long shot, I think that would be, the perfect unicorn would to have Venom somehow in the MCU. It's not completely impossible because Venom appeared in the Maguire universe. They have the current Venom film series. Venom 2 comes out just months before Spider-Man No Way Home. So they could tease something there. And the Venom director has said that Sony is building towards a confrontation between Venom and Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So the groundwork is being laid. I am hesitant to say that it's going to be Venom because it would fall into the same issue that Venom in the original Tobey Maguire series did, in that the movie wasn't solely about Venom. If you have Venom as a Spider-Man villain, it has to be about Venom.
Yeah, it should just be him.
Venom is Spider-Man's arch nemesis. He is the antithesis to everything Spider-Man is. So you can't have him just be, one of 6. The movie has to be about him, especially if you're going to have Spider-Man crossover or Venom crossover. It needs to be, maybe it's a tease. Maybe he just sees the symbiote. Maybe he's going through the multiverse, and in one multiverse he sees the symbiote, and that's it. Maybe it's not actually Venom. It might just be a throwaway scene.
Yeah,
it might be a
because
teaser.
actually, I got worse news for you. If
What?
it is Venom, then I think you're very close to Spider-Man leaving Marvel and going full on to the Venomverse.
That is one of the potential outcomes of this film, because obviously, with opening up the multiverse, we open up many different possibilities for the future of Spider-Man and the MCU. So the most obvious one is people are hypothesizing they're setting up a possible Spider-Man exit from the MCU. It could very well be the case. Peter Parker could flee his reality and try to recover his old life in a new one. If the spell in the trailer succeeds and it wipes everybody's memory, then maybe It just allows Spider-Man to just gracefully exit the Avengers, and Nick Fury and everybody just forgets about Spider-Man. He goes off, does his own thing, and then he goes and he fights Venom over in the Sony verse. There's ways for him to gracefully leave the MCU if Disney and Sony can't come to agreements on the future of this franchise, which I think would be a huge detriment, because Marvel made Spider-Man way bigger than Sony ever could.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the Tobey Maguire films at the time, they were the most popular superhero films, and they were fine. They stumbled at the end, whatever. Andrew Garfield was terrible. Nobody can convince me otherwise. Those Spider-Man films were awful. Tom Holland is the perfect blend of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. He's the best Spider-Man and the best Peter Parker that we've had.
My analysis always was Tobey Maguire was a great Peter Parker, but not a good Spider-Man. Maguire, what's his name? Now the other guy.
Andrew Garfield.
He was a better Spider-Man, but not a Peter Parker. And then I think Tom Holland has been the perfect blend of both.
Yeah. And I think that what I hope Sony and Disney come to agreement on is that this plot line, if handled tactfully, will allow Tom Holland to exist in both simultaneously. Right? Because you could hypothetically make the case that because of the multiverse breaking down, that maybe, Venom or, Spider-Man can, maybe one gets pulled into the other universe, so they somehow both exist in the same world.
Yeah.
Like the worlds somehow collide or intertwine, and conveniently they end up together, but allow Spider-Man essentially dual citizenship. Right? That's the way that I'm looking at it, is that he can now, because of the multiverse...
Check out that passport.
Check out that dual citizenship. Right, exactly. Also, it allows Marvel an easy way to bring in the Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Deadpool from Fox, who Disney acquired, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So now, because of the multiverse, they don't need to explain the X-Men. They're just coming in from another universe. They're just coming in from another reality. It's very comic book, but it works. Look, we're dealing with gods and cosmic beings. You could very easily bring in superheroes from another universe.
Yeah. What's that? It's the Slave One.
It's the right, exactly. You really want Star Wars in this?
What's that? It's the Millennium Falcon and an Imperial class Star Destroyer. What's happening?
Disney that would be very audacious of Disney to try that.
They would have to cut a profit for Patton Oswalt. He literally predicted that.
He did. But I'm just super pumped for this next Spider-Man movie. Really exciting stuff.
Can I tell you? You made 2 pages of notes here.
I made 2 pages of notes here. I didn't even get to half of them.
Wow.
I did a deep dive. You want to hear my deep dive here? So
you got. I'll give you 2 minutes.
Give me a few minutes.
2 minutes.
So there's another element to this trailer and this movie specifically that I think is going to be integral to Phase 4. So they've teased the multiverse with WandaVision, Loki, Doctor Strange, in Infinity War, Endgame. All these things have mentioned the multiverse. This is what's kicking down the door, and I think that we're getting our first potential glimpse, or the first potential inkling of what the next big bad or what the next real threat will be in the next couple of phases. Not Phase 4 immediately. That's going to be probably Kang the Conqueror. But what we're seeing now is a trend in Marvel to the more cosmic side of things, right? Having Doctor Strange, having Captain Marvel, having WandaVision and Loki. We're getting more mystical. We're getting more cosmic. There's a whole section of the Marvel Universe that I did a deep dive on today that we haven't even begun to breach. So there's characters like the Watchers, the Celestials, Dormammu, Ego, who've all been referenced. These are these cosmic, all-powerful beings. There's so many more that we haven't even touched on, like Galactus, the World Eater, the Living Tribunal, which is a character who safeguards the multiverse from imbalance. Seems like that could be a thing, right? He's the most powerful being in the Marvel universe, behind Marvel's equivalent of God. So, there's big bads in the future that I could see them, now that they've torn open the doors to the multiverse, that they could bring in easily. And, how can you step up from Thanos? You go cosmic, right? Yeah. You go galaxy-wide instead of just Earth, right? Yeah. So that is where I see this being their first. They're dipping their toe into the deep end before they jump on in. They've laid the groundwork, and now it's, this is going to be kicking in the door, and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, we're going to step through it. And we're going to get our first inkling at these maybe cosmic, celestial, mystical enemies that we could see, maybe not in Phase 4, but maybe Phase 5, Phase 6, because they're not going to stop.
No, it's going to keep going.
We're going to get to 50-some movies. That I'm fully convinced of.
And Florida Phase.
And Florida
Don't
Phase.
forget
of course,
about Florida
we
Phase.
talked about that. Yeah, we talked about Florida Phase.
They have already assembled the Avengers of Florida, so you might as well just run with it and create your own Marvel Phase with it.
Just do it. Just do it already.
Yeah, just do it. Okay. Mike, I know you could talk the whole podcast.
I could talk forever and ever,
this.
but I know we got to end it.
Yeah.
Go watch the trailer.
Yeah, we gotta wrap this up and officially start taking a break because poor Marie's been waiting over there.
She's been waiting. I know.
Yeah, yeah. She's like, when am I coming on? Help! So we got the third mic ready for her to go when we come back from the break after this mix of the sports sampler and the entertainment entree format that we did this week. So don't go anywhere. We got Marie coming up. And then the non-fortune cookie odd news. I still have a story for you that you need to hear, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
Oh, yeah, back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Did I see you raise the roof over there? I think I did. Yeah, because we got Marie Thresher. Woo! Here you go. For those that don't know, she is a talented graphic artist. I mean, you literally came up with the logo for our podcast.
Yep.
And now you sit here as an accomplished illustrator. This is something that you've been working on for so long. I'm so happy to see this in physical form. Marie, why don't you tell us all about it? You got 2 books.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You jumped right from 0 to 2 books.
I mean, after you've been doing it for 7 years, you're like, wow, hey, I've got a lot of work that is just kind of hanging around. So it was exciting to finally actually have it like in a physical format. And I mean, you guys started exactly 1 year before I started. So it's kind of funny to see the progression of like how the podcast has grown and how like my doodles have grown.
Yeah,
It's,
it's been amazing. So
but here's the thing, though. We're in like a field where everybody's got a podcast.
Right.
Not everybody has their own book,
That's
and
very
you have
true.
2 books. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love the designs of it. It's, I sent you a picture. I've put these on our coffee table in our living room, and it's perfect. Like it's not only stylish, it gives you good positivity. You're looking forward to the weekend, but like it's just cute, and I just love everything about these.
It's the perfect coffee table book.
Yeah.
It's very classy coffee table book.
Yes.
I mean, they say don't judge a book by its cover, but everybody does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are two good-looking covers.
Well,
so
thank you.
why don't we take things a step back and talk about a little bit about like what are these Happy Friday doodles? Because people coming into it might not know. You've been doing this for 7 years, but what exactly prompted you to start making these little doodles? I mean,
Yeah, so it's been a wild adventure. I was basically sitting in the cafeteria one day at lunch, and you know how there's a weird transition after you come out of college and you're like starting a full-time job, and at that point, I guess it was my second like cycle of being through. Okay, well, I'm still at the same, like we're still in the same department. Whereas when you're in college, like you change up every 6 months. Like
Right.
you have, you see different people. You are constantly learning different subjects, and you have a lot of things that are always in flux. And it was right after the holiday season, so it was like in the beginning of February, and things, we're kind of getting back into that rhythm. And it's winter; there's not, a whole lot going on.
Right.
And I was just sitting at the lunch table thinking, like, hey, I kind of like miss everybody. I miss the hustle and bustle of being in college, and I just kind of did this quick little doodle. If you look at it, I always started as square, even before Instagram. But if you look at it, like I still have the table, like a line of the table in my picture. Like the paper wasn't even big enough for this doodle. And I took a quick picture of it, and I just started texting it out to people. And it's amazing how it just grows because the response was overwhelming. Everybody was like so happy about, getting this little doodle.
See, that's something I keep forgetting is this wasn't started on Instagram. Like you were doing this before you started the Instagram account and got all these followers and everything like that.
Yeah, so I just started as me texting a bunch of people, like everybody I could think of, and everyone who got it would like. Everybody loves Friday.
Right.
Like it's there's just a joy that happens, and it was exciting that it got such a big response, and so I kept doing it every week, and I just kept texting people. So it eventually grew to the point where I started getting more complicated with the art, and I got more into it. It wasn't just like a quick doodle, and I started sending it out later, and I started getting these text messages around like 5 o'clock, like, "Hey, it's Friday. Where's my doodle at?"
Where's my damn doodle?
I know that I'm probably guilty for something similar. Like I know if I send you a text on a Friday and I haven't gotten a Happy Friday doodle, I'm like, I beat you to the punch.
Exactly.
I'm like, Happy Friday.
It's true.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is like, I joined Instagram. I share everything on there, and like I still text people.
Yeah.
There are still people that like I looked at it. It's about 23 to 25 people ish, give or take, that I text still every Friday.
Wow.
And send out this doodle. So I actually asked Mike and Rich before the podcast to look at their phones and see how many text messages they send out in a month, because I want to know how much my text messages are.
Yeah, it might be more.
Yeah.
So I looked at my bill. I sent out 209 text messages.
Oh man, I text a lot. I don't know what I did.
I don't have friends.
You know what? You know what it is? Mine might be inflated because I'm part of a lot of like different group text messages that I don't really participate in.
Oh,
so
I
maybe
hate group text.
Yeah, they're. But mine's like 670.
Oh.
Yeah.
gosh.
I don't know what I was doing. I sent a lot of text messages though apparently last month.
Yeah.
Can you guys guess how many I sent out last month?
Okay. Well,
It's more.
Probably more than mine, judging by the reactions. Is it 4 digits? Is it over 1,000? Oh wow.
Yes.
Is it 5 digits?
No.
Okay. All right. So somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000. Is it over 2,000?
No. So it's actually just over 1,000 texts. So I have 1,185.
Wow.
There you go.
That's still a lot of text messages.
That's-
Good thing you're not paying a dime for each one. Like,
I know, right?
Oh my gosh, I know.
20 years ago.
That's a good point. Happy Friday Doodles would not exist as texts if you had to pay per text.
This is very true.
Yeah.
So thank you to AT&T and Verizon and Sprint and T-Mobile for making texting free.
Exactly.
Sorry, Virgin Mobile.
Do they still charge?
That's what I don't know. That was the one I remember. They used to charge 10 cents a text.
It was like 10 cents, and then it was like a nickel, and then they were like, we can just give this to people.
Yeah.
I mean, these books would then have sponsored by
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
your phone company.
You're the Bell Telephone Company.
But, I love getting these Happy Friday Doodles, and you've drawn inspiration from so many different, like, areas, whatever's like big at the time, whether it's a holiday or like a new movie or TV show that you're digging, or it's beach season, you'll do stuff on like the beach.
Yeah.
What were some of the the most notable ones, or some of your favorite ones that you've ever done? I know some of mine, some of the early ones in book 1. I still remember like getting those early ones. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember there's like a roller coaster one, and one that looks like a Spider-Man web. Again, going back to Spider-Man.
Oh God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Loves the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, that's the funny part. So it kind of evolved almost into a diary, because like literally every week you have to come up with something new. So it's like, okay, where's my inspiration this week, or what's going on, or how can I be inclusive and think of like what's somebody else going to really enjoy. And I guess for me, I don't necessarily love any particular one, because it just reminds me of different moments in my life.
Right.
But I will say, like in book 2, we've been friends forever. And as our mutual friend Steph likes to say, we've known each other for more than half of our lives at this point.
We have.
And
no.
So I've known you guys
You're
more
old.
Yeah.
You're so old.
It's just
You
wild.
remember a time when it was 10 cents a text.
Yeah.
And dial up.
And dial up.
Oh no.
But I will say, like, one of my favorite ones in book 2 is when we were all together for Christmas in 2019, lest we know that it was the last one before we wouldn't be able to have a Christmas party. But
this was the last one before COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my favorite doodles that I've ever made was with you guys, when we each made a different letter together.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I know.
Here, I'll get it up close for the video. Feed.
Yeah. It's great because everybody is spelling out the letters with their bodies. I remember you pitching it to us. So you're like, all right, everybody, and you like assigned letters, and you're like, you have to make this letter. I'm like, oh my gosh, how are we going to make these letters?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a memorable one. And you're right, it has a special place. Let me see. Just hold it a second. Yeah.
What, you don't remember it?
No, I remember. I just
You
wanna,
were in it,
You
Mike.
were there.
I just want to see it again.
You were there, Mike.
You were my brother. I don't know why you remind me of Obi-Wan right now.
Yeah, no, I was trying to go for like a movie twist. Like,
Oh.
you were there. Remember?
But I love it because it's such a special moment for us. Those Christmas parties, and it's weird that it was really the last time that we were together for a Christmas party before the whole world kind
things
of ended.
changed,
Oh
yeah.
wait,
Yeah.
and look at that one.
So this is the one I wanted to show.
Yeah.
I'm glad you picked out the right book, because this is the one that has the logo you made with some headphones on it to represent our podcast. So there you go. I'm reaching over there for the video feed.
Yeah.
I love that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that one was definitely for both of you. And I listen to the podcast every week. I love listening to, hearing just the rapport that you both have together.
Oh, thank you.
You're just like brothers, and like it reminds me so much of just.
You are my brother. Excuse me,
Mikey. You are my brother.
I mean, basically at this point. But that's a good point, though. I mean, it's weird that it's taken us this long to get you on the podcast because. Like Steph said, a mutual friend, we've all known each other for like more than half our lives. We go all the way back to high school. And you're one of the first listeners we've had. You made the logo and everything. And, 8 years later.
People love that logo.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
When we have the campaigns, whenever we do T-shirts, people love the logo. They think it's cool, and it's a testament to your work. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
If you guys ever need any graphic design work done,
Yeah.
right there.
I'm sure I've mentioned this to you. I know I mentioned it on the podcast last week, but my favorite part about the logo is the fact you made the wire a C for crispy. That is like next level Thanos thinking. I was like, wow, that is like attention to detail I never would have thought of.
Yeah.
So I don't know, brilliant. Just
thank you.
I love every bit of that logo.
I mean, the best logos are complicated and have something that like stick with you. But to that point, though, I feel like you guys took it and you ran with it and you like made it your own. And like, you can have a really nice logo, but if the thing behind it is crap, you're never going to fly with that brand.
That's true. That is true.
Sage words.
But the logo does help. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
We were actually talking right before the podcast about how I was trying to ballpark about how many doodles I have right now, and it happens that this is episode 364.
Yep.
So I was looking, and for 7 years of doodles with 52 weeks in a year, give or take, me missing one or two, the exact number is 364.
Wow.
Which is wild. It just feels like
it's crazy. It was like meant to be, because when you think about it, if you hadn't missed a few weeks, if we don't take weeks off occasionally, if we don't have the crispy compact communique in the middle,
if we don't have a national pandemic,
right? Neither of us hit 364 on the exact same, time. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Like, it's incorporated into your lives now. It's really wild.
Another thing to mention too is you are our first guest post-COVID.
Yes.
Woo.
So another thing you can hang your hat on. You were the
go.
first guest coming back post-COVID.
Well, she was there at the beginning to create the logo.
Yeah.
And now here after the pandemic too.
There you go.
So,
well, if you think about it, you guys have been along the ride with my project as long as I've been along with the ride with your project.
That's true. That's true.
It's been pretty cool to see just the evolution of both, and
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I'm just so happy and so amazed. Like you said, we've been there the whole time. I remember, getting those text messages like first thing Friday morning of just this simple pen and paper doodle, and then just watching it grow from pen and paper doodles to like media projects to GIFs to, just the way that they've evolved over the years, become so much more ambitious, so much more detailed.
There's like a 3D modeled tiki Happy Friday in here. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's incredible. And I mean, I'm so happy for you. And
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have these books and, to be able to show them off on the coffee table and on the bookshelf. Yeah. So everybody's got to get a set of books.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And they're perfect for a coffee table. They're very stylish. I'm amazed that it's here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I remember you talking about it, and you had to go through a lot of processes and legalese and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I hired some people.
Yeah.
You hired some people.
So to see it now, like in physical form, is just amazing, and a testament to your dedication to this. This is fantastic.
Thank you. And the other wild part is like seeing it actually like printed and not on a phone.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, I've only ever sent it to you via text, or you see it on Instagram, and it's always on a screen. And I mean, for me, I'm building them. I have the physical papers that I'm photographing or filming, whatever the case may be. And to actually see it larger and printed and actually colorful is also like a different experience even for me.
Yeah. That must be amazing to see your work come to life like that. I mean, it always comes to life, but then be able to hold like a physical, like mass-produced.
It's surreal.
It is so surreal. And also, you touched on something that I think is a little interesting tidbit to talk about. You've told me a little bit about the process, outside the podcast and just in our casual group settings, about both the legal process and the reproduction process.
Yes.
Because the legal process was interesting. There was a lot of Happy Friday doodles you couldn't include for copyright issues.
These are the best of, but also the ones that won't sue me for.
Right.
Yeah,
you definitely,
very important. You gotta clear that by.
Look, we talked about Marvel and Disney. They don't get as big as they are without stomping out a few little guys along the way. And so
Disney will come at your throat. Everyone.
They will. Anything that vaguely looks like a mouse ear, they're going to come after you. So it's best to avoid them.
Yes.
And you had to cut some interesting ones, right? Because of those copyright issues. Some Star Wars ones, and
even though I had the art done,
right,
you would think like there are some touch up things that you would want to do for print just to make it look better. But it was such a process because for instance the Christmas doodle, I had to Photoshop out the shoes logos. I had to take out.
I didn't think about that.
Steph had a branded ugly sweater on.
Oh,
how dare she, Steph? God, causing Marie so much extra work.
Look what you did, Steph.
I had to hand paint that. Oh boy.
But yeah, like it's crazy.
A lot of things you don't think about.
Poor Steph, she's gonna cry.
Don't cry.
My sister, I had to do that to her, and hers was worse. Hers was polka dots.
Oh no! Wait, so wait, Lisa did something wrong? What did she do?
Lisa had the Game of Thrones Winter is Coming.
Oh no!
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
Yes.
That was so perfect.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
Come on, Lisa!
Come on! Oh my gosh!
Just for her.
The funny part is her husband yells at her all the time.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
That's amazing.
There you go.
There you go.
I had to throw in a random sound effect.
I love it.
It's
perfect.
There you go.
There you go. You got interrupted by a sound clip. You're truly part of the podcast. You're truly part of the podcast now.
This is a life mark for me.
Oh my gosh. So,
but yeah, it's looking through art through a commercial lens is definitely it's a learning experience. I had to have a rapid fire session with the lawyer where I was like, okay, I have like a bunch of doodles. I'm going to go through them. Tell me yes or no right now because it's expensive and you want to go fast.
Yeah,
So,
you want to stay under that hour time limit, right?
Exactly. And the funny part was like I had 2 Harry Potter drawings. One I did really early on, one I did later. And she's like, well, the early one, I don't think anyone would come after you for it. Mind you, this was the crappier one of the 2. And the second one, she's like, oh, that's too good. No, they'll come after you for that. So it was funny.
That's too good.
That's too good.
That was.
I mean, that's a compliment, but also like
it's also no. But yeah, it was funny. It's like if you want something in there that's good, you're not gonna you're gonna get sued.
Oh.
And it was what was my other thought?
It's all right. That happens.
Yeah.
No. That's what I want to say. So, Philadelphia, I wanted to have my Philly thoughts in there.
Right.
And so I had a Rocky statue drawing.
Oh.
And I knew that would be questionable. So when I talked to her about it, I ultimately decided not to keep it in because of the whole discussion we had. But the premise was that because it was a depiction not specifically of Sylvester Stallone or a movie poster, because it was an actual statue, that it fell into a different category, that it wasn't a right of publicity problem.
Interesting.
Because if it was just of him in the movie, it would not have worked.
Right. Yeah, but you're reproducing a statue.
That's outside.
Right.
But they still, people represent the love statue and they change that up. And there have been problems where...
So is it worse to replicate a statue?
No,
it's better for you because it's not so.
Oh, okay.
I had to have people who were in the book sign a right of publicity statement saying that they weren't going to claim any kind of royalties, etc. So if you have, I had a really cool drawing of John Baptiste playing the keyboard or piano keys, and I couldn't include that because it would violate his right of publicity and how I'm portraying him.
Right.
So if the Rocky statue was just Sylvester Stallone having his his boxing gloves in the air and that was it, I was referencing just the movie, I couldn't have used it.
Right.
But the lawyer was like, well, I think you'd be okay with the statue, but if you're filming around the art museum, you have to get a permit for that. And the funny part is, as you go up the steps, the permit price increases.
Oh wow!
Oh, how convenient! How convenient!
You betray the law.
The things you don't know about our own city here. Wow.
Yeah. So
does Stallone know about this?
I don't. He's probably getting a kickback, so probably.
He may. Actually, you're probably right. That's probably the truth.
So that's really interesting.
Yeah, I never would have thought of that.
The things that you don't think about, like even reproducing a statue.
Or also food. So I've got
food.
I love Reese's cups, and I've got a Reese's cup in here, and that was another discussion. Okay, well, there are other, there are other knockoff brands. There's other things that you can apple soup, the letters, alphabet soup. Okay. Those, there's other off brands for that. It's not specifically Campbell's, but it was also is that something to think about? So it's so different. Like, I've been making these doodles for fun for 7 years. I never quite thought of, them in a commercial aspect.
Does this now change how you approach the doodles, or are you just gonna, continue about your merry way?
Well,
I mean, for possible future projects, because it's still ongoing.
It's still ongoing, and that's the thing. So, like, it's a little bit beyond 7 years at this point. So I'm so close to 10 years. Why don't I go for it?
Right. Yeah.
And
exactly.
I mean, same thing for you guys. You're so close. I'd like keep going, make it to 10. And
I mean,
10
we're
and
not
keep going.
stopping anytime soon, so we expect the same from you.
Exactly.
That's right.
We're gonna keep each other in check here.
There you go. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, I want to definitely make it to 10 years.
Right.
Maybe at that point, I'll be like, okay, 10-year run of Friday Doodles. That's good for me.
Okay.
But yeah, it definitely has, like, I'm now like thinking through a legalese lens.
Right.
When I make these, they're not quite as carefree as before.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Like when the next Spider-Man movie comes out, you're like, can't do the Spider-Man logo, but maybe
a web.
Maybe a web. Yeah. It
a whole bunch of webs.
A whole bunch of webs. Yeah. That's really interesting. And one other thing I wanted to talk about, I hope we still have time for this, because you told me about this, about how some of the images that you created a long time ago, when doing them in print, people might not know, colors are reproduced differently.
Yes.
File sizes and quality. You had to recreate some, and you had to touch up some a lot, because the colors might be different. And, it might come out pixelated or, different, aspect ratio or, whatever it might be. So, I mean, like, was that a difficult process? Like, how many pictures did you have to touch up? Like, is that something that completely caught you off guard? Like, what was that like going through that whole process?
I would say that I mean, I've made books before, but never this intense.
Right.
And I would say, like, book 1 is 140 images and book 2 is 120.
Wow.
And yeah, I almost retouched all of them.
Wow.
Just because of, colors not being quite as bright. And in the beginning, I actually was very anti-computer. Okay. So I want, like, my job is at the computer every day. And I wanted these to be kind of touching back to my artistic roots.
Right.
I didn't want to Photoshop anything. As they've gotten more complicated, I have changed them. But with certain ones, especially in the beginning, there was more hazing and, like, a little bit of pixelation, because I would use some filters. Like, that's the only real computer aspect I would allow myself, and that was just on the phone. And it was an older phone, so, that, of course, is a smaller image ratio and smaller resolution. And so I did have to enlarge some. I did have to redraw certain portions, like there's a tree in here with the heart that the Friday's kind of drawn through. Like, I redrew that and put it in, just because, like, certain parts in print you really want to pop, especially for emphasizing the text.
Absolutely.
So there was one as well that had a snowman face, and I proofed it on the computer, I proofed it on the television, and yet when it printed in the proof, now that's one thing. If you guys ever make a book, pay for the proof.
Yeah.
It's worth it, because you will not see things that you will see in print. And, it depends on how your monitor is calibrated as well. Mm-hmm. You have an old computer, and how is the actual print colors of that printer? Like, you can have multiple printers print the same thing and they all look different.
Right.
Because it depends on the level of quality of the printer as well. So the one image had all this, like, hazing around it in the proof. And, like, you couldn't see that on the computer. You couldn't see that on the TV. And it just happened that it was a very old file, and there was more information and pixelation than you could see with your eye.
Wow.
And the printer was so high quality, like, it picked up all that information.
Right. That's so interesting. People don't realize, they just see, pictures in a book. They're like, okay, she took some pictures of hand-drawn art and just basically printed it on a photo printer. Like, no, it's way more time and effort and work. I mean, it just speaks to your dedication and ambition. I mean, retouching hundreds of pictures. It's incredible.
And the other thing, like, you learn so much, because industrial printers also have different specs than if you were to just send it to, like, your regular desktop printer. And I found out when I submitted the final proofs that my black on every single border was rejected.
Oh, no.
And it was because I chose, it's called registration in InDesign. And it's set to 100% in all of CMYK. So that's cyan, yellow, magenta, and black.
No, you have to use processed black.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I know that from my labeling days in pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
You can't do black in CMYK. That was a big no-no.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So every single border had to be changed.
Oh, man.
And it was a back and forth because sometimes just by the way that the master pages kind of changed as I was changing the book, one border would have another one underneath it, but you couldn't see it because it was exactly on top of each other. So there was a couple times when I changed the border, but there's a ghost one underneath it.
Yeah.
So
it's so funny. You talk about that. I think back to my job at Teva and the headaches of hidden layers and the different colors. And it's like, yeah, it's a huge amount of work getting that stuff correct.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why this is so impressive, because if you know anything about creating art and creating books and the printing process, it's a huge project, and so you have to support artists like this.
And build in time. If you ever want to do a book yourselves, which you guys totally should, just build in extra time.
Yeah.
Just realize it's going to take 4 times as long as you think.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine you got 2 books right from the get-go. So, I mean, this is an incredible endeavor.
Yeah. Like Rich said, you went from 0 to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the publishing equivalent of going 0 to 60.
And that's why I made 2 so big on the front.
That's right.
Yep. Speaking of food, we're running short on time, so we wanted to do a nice side dish segment with you, since you've now officially been inducted into the podcast. So let's do a food taste test. We've been trying these little segments every now and then with Mike's world snack.
It's Universal Yums, snacks from around the world.
There
They're
you
going to
go.
send me a free box one of these
They
days.
better.
They better.
We've been promoting the hell out of this.
Yeah, all the free advertising. God, it's nice.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. So we've been taking snacks from the Universal Yums box. This box is from Greece. We have some chips. We have some simple chip snacks here. We have some tomato and paprika chips from Toti's. And we have some peanut and hazelnut corn puffs.
There you go.
So we're just going to pass these around.
Literally, this is why we take the bite out of the microphone, because we want to try some food.
we're always eating here, so I'll pass this around.
Yeah.
Everybody can take a few of the corn puffs.
Corn puff.
This is a rite of passage for all guests. We usually do like a game, or you do something weird with guests. So this is us doing something weird or game. Like, I'll take the bag back.
This has a weird smell to it.
Does it have a weird smell? Because I couldn't tell if it does or not.
You know what this reminds me of?
There's a weird smell coming from these balls.
There's a weird smell coming from. You don't like how the balls smell, Rich?
Just saying.
They're peanut and hazelnut.
Did you guys ever have the Captain Crunch peanut butter cereal? Because that's what this reminds me of.
Oh,
okay.
Right. Well, let's try these peanut and hazelnut puffs from Greece.
Yeah. They taste like a cheese ball.
Wow.
But they're corn puffs. Yeah, it's like
what?
It's like a peanut butter ball.
I don't really get. Okay, now I'm getting the peanut butter. Now I'm getting the peanut. This is the thing that I notice about these snacks from other countries, is that the flavors and the sugars are not like snacks here.
Yeah.
Like, this is very subdued, like a very subtle peanut. It's mostly corn puff that I'm tasting.
Yes.
Yeah, not bad.
That's good. It definitely reminds me of a less sugary version of the Captain Crunch peanut butter cereal.
That's probably a good similarity. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, it's not bad. All right, now we have tomato and paprika potato chips.
Okay, it's tomato and paprika.
Yeah.
I just realized I didn't show the first one.
Oh.
Sorry to our video feed. That was.
Yeah.
It didn't. I don't know. This is the. Sorry.
There
we go. I'm trying to show off the bags. So this is the one we're trying right now.
So you made a point
Tomato
before
and
the
paprika.
podcast, Marie. We were talking about tomato chips, and you're like, it's probably going to taste like a ketchup chip, which is basically a sweet barbecue chip.
Yes.
So do you think that that's what we're going to get here? We're going to get a barbecue flavored chip. I mean, the tomato and the paprika Should be pretty barbecuey, right?
It does
I
smell
think so.
barbecuey.
Does it smell like barbecuey?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's dive on in.
Yeah. Pop this one. Pop this one in. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
guess
fine by me. I love barbecue.
I guess it's not as like potent as a barbecue flavor.
Yeah, I'd slather myself in barbecue sauce. Eat myself. Woo! Yeah, it sounds
pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It is good.
So these were from Greece?
These are from Greece.
All right, not bad, Greece.
Greece has some pretty like just regular snacks.
Yeah.
Not
well,
like
you never know. You never know with these things. We had the one episode where I couldn't eat that one thing.
the grape must cookie.
Yeah, that one. Oh, that was bad.
You did not like that.
That was bad.
You like legit almost spit that out.
Yeah. So you never know. You never know what reaction we're going to get when we do the side dish taste testing there.
Yeah, but those are both good.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
They both got thumbs up from me.
Yeah. So those are pretty good.
I'll give 2 thumbs up.
There you go.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
And we got to give thumbs up as well to Marie and her Happy Friday Doodles.
Yes.
The books. Go check them out. Where can people find your work?
So they officially launch online on Labor Day. But I will be actually having a book signing in November on Black Friday weekend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's that
You
Sunday.
have an appearance.
I do.
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
Where will you be, Marie?
Well, I'm so happy you asked. So I'll be at Moravian Bookstore in Bethlehem, PA on November 28th from 1 to 3. And then, like I said, they'll launch online on Labor Day. Now, if you really want to support me, if you go and please go to Book Baby to buy them. So they're available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all that other jazz. But Book Baby supports me the most. It cuts out the middleman. And I have coupons, so it's even cheaper for you, and it's better for me.
There you go.
Nice.
Deal.
Yes. So, and they're easy to remember. So book 1 is just TGIF, all capitals. And then book 2 is Friday.
Okay.
So
there you go.
Those are your coupon codes to get them on bookbaby.com.
Yeah, Book Baby. Well, so go to happyfridaydoodles.com /books, and then you can all the information's there. The coupon codes, the different stores that you can buy them from.
Okay.
And yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys. This
There
is
you go.
like totally
Absolutely.
amazing.
The whole information. There you go.
Yay.
Wow.
You'll have to
It's
be
like
back for book 3 when that
Yes.
comes.
Yeah.
Let's make it to 10 years, man.
Yeah.
You sound
Have
like
a trilogy.
You sound 10 times more professional than we do. So there you go. You got
Oh,
everything.
God. You have the sound bites, man.
Yeah, but there's
Yeah, but have you heard Rich's sound bites?
Yeah, they're pretty weird. But Marie, thank you for coming on the show
Thanks
and
for
plugging
having
your
me.
book. This has been a pleasure.
Yeah.
So much fun. Thanks, guys.
Yep. So there you go. We have a well-known illustrator with 2 books right out of the gate.
2 books.
There you go. So check that out, happyfridaydoodles.com. But for right now, we're going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to hit you with some odd news. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, Book Baby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com /books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
Yeah, back here on the Crispy Noodle podcast. I love Marie. That was a fantastic interview.
So glad she could come on. I mean, we go back so long.
Yeah.
The three of us, so happy she could be on and promote the books.
Yeah.
So excited to dive into them and really, analyze each one.
Yeah. And then they're fantastic coffee table books. I love the fact that they're like stylish, you know? So
they're like classy, stylish, fun. Just you got to go get yourselves a copy.
Definitely check it out. But real quick, we're rapidly approaching the end of the show. So before we get to that, we got to go over your necessary dose of odd news with the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing.
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Manda bastata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. That'll be $4, baby. You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at Meat Tornado.
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders. Go to the bathroom because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story every week, and he keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that my reaction is my genuine gut reaction to hearing the story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because this segment always takes us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Where we heading to? What's happening? Who's happening? What's going on?
This one we're going to Iowa.
Iowa.
Yeah, back in Iowa.
What state? Iowa.
Yep, we're back in Iowa. And this is a very short story, but I love the mental image that this will produce.
Okay.
So I think it's appropriate since we definitely wanted to give Marie a lot of time. So this is just a short, simple, quick odd news story, but put on your imagination hats because this is pretty funny. Apparently, police responded to a call at a disturbance at an Iowa apartment building complex. That's when they encountered 19-year-old Kyle Clark and another man who was yelling face-to-face at each other. When police tried to separate the two, that's when one alleged that the other was hiding, quote, a very large bag of marijuana from him. How dare you?
How dare he?
And then Kyle said, quote, I do not have a very large bag of marijuana, which at that precise moment, cops allege that a large bulge in his pants suddenly discharged and a large bag of marijuana did indeed fall from his pants.
This cannot be made good. It's shameful. It's a shameful, shameful day.
Like literally,
That's awkward.
Literally like a sitcom.
Yeah, it's like I don't have anything. Boop,
bloop. Like literally, this is when you need like a sound effect.
That's like the laugh track.
And laugh track. Yeah. Like literally sitcom moment.
Oh my god.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Just
where'd that come from? That's not mine. It's like, sir, it came out of your pant leg.
Cops then asked, was that a bag of weed? Clark then said, oh, no. That is my medication. He then tried to stuff it back in his pants and tried to walk down a flight of stairs and fell down the flight of stairs.
Oh, my God.
This cannot be made good. It's shameful. It's a shameful, shameful day.
It really is like a sitcom.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure that this isn't like an accidental like sitcom set and people just thought it was like a crime happening or something?
Yeah. So, dude, I know you're 19, but come on. You got to be a little more put together than that if you're going to commit crime.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't keep my medications in my pants.
Yeah, right in the pants.
Like,
yeah.
okay, maybe you put it in your pocket, but not like, like in your pants, so like in your pant leg, so it's like falling out.
Right. We're not talking about pockets. We're talking about in the pants.
That is immediately suspicious.
Yeah. Here you go. I got a picture of the dude, 19-year-old Kyle Clark. There he is, right there.
Okay. And he looks kind of criminally.
Yeah. But I think he also has like a wave of embarrassment on his face, knowing how just ridiculous he made it.
Yeah, he's a sitcom character.
He's like, oh God, I can't believe this is what I'm gonna get pinched for.
Right, dropping a bag of weed out of your pants,
after claiming that you didn't have it, and then falling down a flight of steps.
Right.
What? Like even if he tried to escape, he messed up.
What a graceful exit.
Like he messed up literally everything.
Right. Oh my God.
You literally just needed sound effects, background music, and laugh track.
Yeah.
That's literally all you needed with this guy.
You got to secure it. If you're going to put it in your pants, you got to secure it somehow.
Yep. He was handcuffed at 3 a.m. The complaint does not indicate how the argument started in the first place. The bag of marijuana weighed 4 ounces. I guess that's pretty big. I have no idea.
That doesn't seem that big. I mean,
That
4
doesn't seem that
ounces is
big.
like 4 ounces is not that.
Or maybe they're saying it's 4 ounces of pot.
I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea.
4 ounces is not a lot. 4
Yeah, it doesn't
ounces
seem like that
is
much.
very light. It's only a quarter of a pound. It's a
That doesn't seem like enough to fall down the stairs
no.
over.
No.
He is charged with misdemeanor drug counts and was booked into the county jail. He was released the following morning. So maybe somebody felt bad for him.
What a doofus.
Yeah. I just love the mental picture that creates, though. That
It's
literally
like,
is...
I don't have it. And whoop, and then laugh track. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah. And they start running and fall down
And
the
then he like
steps.
tries to stuff it back in his
Boom,
pants.
boom,
and
boom, boom.
Yeah.
Fall down the stairs.
More laugh track.
More laugh track. Like,
Cue credits.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
Oh,
That's Billy. Or what's his name?
Yeah, I already forgot his name now. That's Kyle.
Oh, Kyle.
Kyle. Credits. Dun, 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 dun. Roll up. There you go.
Dumb Druggy and the Friend.
That's the name of the show.
That's the name of the show.
Right off the bat.
Just you tell people what it is. Don't what do you call it? Don't bury the lead. Just right there, Dumb Druggy and the Friend.
Dumb Druggy and the Friend doesn't know what their argument will be. Then the cops come, create an awkward scene, and then you fall down a flight of steps.
Wow, there's not bearing the lead and then telling people the entire story in the theme song.
Whoops. This is a very cheap show.
Yeah,
We don't have money for other aspects of the show.
It takes place in the stairway of an apartment building.
Yeah. We literally have 4 actors, 2 cops and Kyle and the other dude.
Right.
That's it. That's the whole show.
That's the whole show.
But I just thought that was just the police report seemed like one scene from a sitcom you'd see on ABC or something.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. That's what I have for you this week in the non-fortune cookie odd news. And with all of that in mind, I think it's time to start wrapping this week's episode up. We're going to have our own credits. It's time to wrap this up.
And we have theme music too.
Yeah. Well, we got, closing music to wrap this podcast up. Thank you all for joining us on this week's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like what you heard, make sure you visit our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you're following us on all the social media, shebangabangs, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole shenanigans.
In addition to the whole shebang-a-bang and the shenanigans, you can find the podcast on YouTube, where you can find the video version of the podcast. But you can still get the audio version of the podcast as well on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcast, and Amazon devices. So make sure you search for, download, and subscribe to the Crispy Noodle Podcast on either YouTube or the podcast service of your choice.
That's right. Also, we got to thank Marie for coming on the show.
That's
right. Plugging her book, brand new books.
Books.
Plural. Books.
That's right.
Excuse me. All right. I think that's still amazing that she came out of the gate swinging with 2 books.
Hey, she's swinging for the fences.
Yeah.
You
So definitely check that out. Happy Friday Doodles on Instagram, happyfridaydoodles.com.
That's right.
Support her work.
That's right. Absolutely. Go support Marie and her work. And also, you can get in touch with us individually on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. You can find us on the Twitters. Let us know what's happening. If you have a news story that you want us to talk about on next week's episode, let us know. Or if you just have a general thing you want to tell us. Or a complaint. We've done hate mail before.
Give us hate mail. I love it. Bring it. Bring
Yeah.
it. I'll fight you.
You know, with
verbally.
Football season starting, Kirk Cousins is coming back.
I hate Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Did you just sing his name randomly?
I don't know. Just to make, I'm trying to raise your blood pressure.
Well, it's working.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So there you go. I've raised Mike's blood pressure enough. It's time to end the show. Thank you guys for joining us. This has been the Crispy Noodle. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. I think that will do it. Anything else, Mike?
No, I think that does it.
All right, that'll do it. We'll see you guys next week for another crazy episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Once again, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys
later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.